Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Next Gen VR, the channel where I review next generation VR headsets and accessories and compare them to previous generations. Today I'll be reviewing the Oculus Quest 2, a standalone wireless VR headset with 64 gigabytes of space and nearly 4K resolution. So, how does it compare to the HP Reverb G2, the Pimax 8KX, and other headsets I've used? I will let you guys know. I will be covering many topics, including the out-of-the-box experience, the build quality, the comfort, the picture quality, the audio, the tracking. So let's jump into the next generation. So here we have the Oculus Quest 2. As you can see, it comes with a default cloth strap solution, and here are the lenses. The lenses are a bit smaller than the G2. Now the foam here feels super good. It feels very premium and the most comfortable face foam that I've ever used. So this is a plus for the Quest that I like. Then you get two controllers which feel very nice in my hands. They feel premium. The touchpad, everything just feels nice to hold. Compared to the Reverb G2 controllers, this feels much better in my hands than the G2 controllers. The box as well is made very well and sturdy. You get also a glasses spacer if you wear glasses with this headset. One of the downsides of the Quest 2 is that it is very front heavy with the cloth strap, which is why I've attached two counterweights to the back. Now, when I wore this just with the cloth, it's actually very heavy and strenuous on my neck. It felt like my head was being pushed down and forward. And I believe this is a health risk because I got strain in my neck that I didn't get with the Reverb G2 and the Pimax 8KX despite them being heavier. And the reason is because the Quest doesn't have any weight in the back. So with these counterweights, I'm able to balance it out. But you can use any weights you like battery pack or whatever, to get that counter. Already is much better with the cloth strap. Now, one thing I like about the cloth strap is it makes it very easy to put on and take off the headset. So I think Facebook focused on ease of use for that. One important feature of the Quest 2 is the Oculus Link, which allows you to play PC VR games on your PC. So you take any Oculus Link cable you can find on Amazon, it works great, and you just plug it in here. Now, here's one downside of this. When this is plugged in, the weight distribution is not right, so you will need to tape or attach the cable to the back of the headset, just like in traditional PC VR headsets. If you orient the cable the other way, like this, then you will feel it weight pushing down in weight from the cable on this side. So you do want to tape it to the back of the headset for even balance. So out of the box, the headset feels very nice. The build quality is great. The user friendliness is very good. It reminds me of an Apple product where Apple focused on consumer friendliness, maybe less features, but it's more friendly to use and easier to jump in. So I think Facebook is like the Apple of VR industry. Less features, but much simpler experience. When first starting up the headset, there's a setup wizard, and it guides me through every step of the way, from adjusting the IPD to telling me to shift my headset up and down until I get a clear view. All of this room setup, etc. So I think other companies in VR can learn from this. I have an IPD of 63, and luckily that was the same IPD set on default out of the three options that you can move your lenses to. And so I got a perfectly clear picture, absolutely no eye strain. It felt natural to look inside the headset. So there's a lot of topics I want to cover, so I'm going to try to keep this organized. So let's talk about picture quality first. The picture quality is very nice. It's about almost 4K as claimed by Oculus, where you get a picture quality that's about 20 to 25% less clarity than the Reverb G2, but still way better than previous generations of headsets. In terms of screen door effect, it is way reduced over the Quest 1. You can almost not see them, and I say almost because if you look really hard, you can still see very fine grid, but it is way reduced to the point where it's almost gone. The Reverb G2 and Pimax AKX, however, have even less screen door effect. Now on to colors and brightness. I have to say that compared to the Reverb G2 and the AKX, the Quest 2 has more muted blacks. The blacks look more gray, and the colors, while they look nice, it looks a little more dull, like the display is less bright than the G2, for example. Now there's an important downside to the Quest 2's built-in library of games. Unfortunately, due to the very high resolution of the new Quest 2, a lot of the games are still based on Quest 1 graphics. So in games like Phantom Covert Ops, you will notice that the resolution is much lower, the textures look plain, and it just breaks immersion as a result. But even new games like the Star Wars Galaxy game, you can definitely see that the textures look like Quest 1 textures. Everything just doesn't look that good, more cube-like in resolution, and so I didn't feel immersed at all in that game, unfortunately. And you can also see this in other games like Population 1, which seems to have been built with the Quest 1 in mind, because you will see sometimes in certain games that textures are shimmering, and from a far distance it's blurry. So unfortunately, these games cannot use the Quest 2's full resolution until they've upgraded their textures and stuff. And I don't know why these games don't create separate builds, one for Quest 1 performance and one for Quest 2, because that would make a huge difference. And unfortunately, a lot of games on the library still use Quest 1 style graphics, and having this higher resolution on the headset makes that way more noticeable. In addition to the lower texture of a lot of these games, the library on the Quest 2 is very limited, so you will need to use Oculus Link if you want to access the bigger library of AAA games and stuff like that. Now on to the field of view. I have to say that the field of view is a little bit less than the G2 on the standard face gasket, but if you do the G2 FOV mod that I've described in the past, the G2 is much wider FOV than the Quest 2. And so the Quest 2 FOV is usable, but sometimes I will notice it and it feels a little bit restrictive compared to the G2 with the FOV mod. Now on to tracking. I have to say that the tracking is excellent. It's almost as good as using the index controllers with outside-in tracking, such as base stations. So the controllers feel very nice, they track very accurately, and so you shouldn't have a problem with tracking. Now onto audio. I have to say that the audio is okay. It's not the most immersive audio. It doesn't feel as 3D as some other solutions do, so I definitely recommend headphones if you're going to use the Quest 2. The Reverb G2 speakers sound amazingly incredible and immersive, and the deluxe audio strap solution that I use for the AKX also sounds really good in comparison. So now let's talk about Oculus Link and how games perform on there. So with the Oculus Link, I definitely notice a massive improvement in graphical fidelity compared to games in the Quest 2 library. So games like Half-Life Alyx and Asgard's Wrath look really, really good. I would say it's about 20-25% less clarity than the G2, but quite competitive with the G2 in Half-Life Alyx, for example. And it running at 72 Hz, it feels smooth. There's no feeling of lag, so I would definitely recommend it for Oculus Link. So overall, I have to say that after all of my experience, that I personally would not use the Quest 2 wirelessly with the Quest 2 library of games, just because the graphics on the games don't look immersive enough for my tastes. The menu of the Quest 2 looks great, however, and browsing the web, reading text is very easy to do and clear. So if you want to use this headset wirelessly for watching movies or browsing the web and reading articles, that's fantastic with this headset. It looks really, really good clarity-wise for that. But if you want to play games, keep in mind that you have a limited library of options, and you're also stuck in Facebook's walled garden. So games that you purchase there may not be available as cross-buy on desktop. And so in the future, if you want to switch to a better wireless VR headset by, say, another company, you've already invested so much money in games for the Quest that this is how Facebook traps you in their ecosystem. Now, in terms of the Oculus Link experience, it is competitive to native PC VR headsets like the HP Reverb G2. I have not tried other modes like 90 Hz, but it probably works fine with that. So I will say that with Oculus Link, this headset is definitely good, but if you're a VR enthusiast, I definitely recommend investing some more money into the G2 because the G2 just looks so much sharper, but also the clarity and also the colors and the brightness are just much better. You can definitely see that the G2 is much brighter. And I have to say that with the Pimax 8KX at 91 brightness and the fact that they recently fixed the ghosting issue makes the 8KX also comparable in brightness to the G2 for me. So I'm really enjoying both headsets over the Quest 2 and would prefer them to play PC VR games. If you're someone who's new to VR, I think you will definitely enjoy the Quest 2, as when I got my first VR headset, which was the Quest 1, I fell in love with that despite having lower graphics obviously and screen door effects. So for people new to VR, Quest 2 is definitely something I recommend. But if you're a VR enthusiast, just get the G2 or some other 4K resolution headset because the Quest 2 is a little bit lacking in that department. I also believe that with the new Wi-Fi 6 standard and better technologies coming out, that wireless PC VR is just around the corner. So a wireless adapter for the Pimax 8KX or the G2 or a future headset is very feasible and would allow you to use a headset wirelessly and play high quality PC VR games with no input lag. So I believe that Oculus's days are numbered. Also, with the controversy regarding requiring a Facebook account, some people are not comfortable sharing this or linking their account to use VR. So if you don't like that, you should definitely boycott Facebook. And so I would say that Facebook currently may be the best option for wireless VR right now, especially for new users. But with some patience, I expect new, better, cheaper options by competitors to come out next year. And so just hang in there. Don't let Facebook suck you into their walled garden. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.